What's up, everybody? This is Kenny Cummins here of Chilling with Kenny C right here on the TMVcafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. And I must say, this is easily the most styling guest I've had in 2024 thus far. He is one half of the duo known as Scarlet Magnum. I definitely should have asked if I could to pronounce his first name. So
It's
I will.
Ozzy.
I was Ozzy. All right, so
Yeah. So good. No worries.
I am joined with Ozzy, one half of Scarlet Magnum, with the shades, got the hair on point, nice dressed up. Look like
Thank
he
you so
ready.
much.
Look like he getting ready to go to the club, man. He got the Miami Vice vibes going.
That's the whole picture. Thank you so much for having me on.
Great to have you here, man. So you are one half of Scarlet Magnum. Talk a little bit about how did Scarlet Magnum got together? How did it came to be?
It's a really interesting story because it started in 2020 when I used to live in New Jersey and somewhere around Morris County. And I was on Instagram trying to find a drummer, and there was a nice guy in who was like an hour south from where I used to live. His name's Nick Mooring, and he's the founding drummer of the band. We jammed a bit, and in August of 2020, I think it was, we did our first in-person show, and plenty of rough edges to smooth out. And we did some stuff in 2021. We put out an EP called Ghost Stories and Supernatural Occurrences. And currently, that's our only stuff that we have out so far. But don't worry, we're working on new stuff, and it's very potent, shall we say? And more recently, in 2022, um, we relocated to Nashville, Tennessee, and Jackson, who's our current drummer, he entered the picture, and we played our first show at Dark Matter Collective, which is a DIY venue in town. They were really nice to us. And so far, we've played 21 shows last year in 2023, and everything's been on an upward trajectory ever since. And I'm really grateful for all of it. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. So I got to hear some of the 2021 music that y'all put out. Yeah,
Yeah.
2021. Sinking Stone is a single. Genuine
Yeah.
Fake is a single. Y'all released the EP called Ghost Stories and Supernatural Occurrences. Very, very appealing title name. Very, very appealing.
Thank you.
And I definitely listened to the project here that came out in June of 2021. It's an incredible project. So,
Thank you.
people, in today's music or just music in general, people like to put artists in a box. People like
Oh,
to
yeah.
try to figure out what kind of music that y'all do. So if somebody were to come up to you and say, what's the best way to describe Scarlet Magnum? How would you explain to them, like, what kind of music does Scarlet Magnum do?
Um, if I would have to reduce it to well, for me, there's really no clear way to condense what we do because even though it's just two guys in a room making as much noise as possible, um, it's, I think the best way I can put the Scarlet Magnum elevator pitch, if you want to call it that, we play loud melodic rock and roll that has one foot in 1964 and the other foot in 2077, and we try to make the best of both worlds. Jackson, our drummer, he's very into cyberpunk and Star Wars, and I'm into a lot of early 60s Beatlemania and a lot of later 20th century artists as well. And we're trying to make the best of, yeah, really trying to make the best of both worlds. and it's loud, it's melodic, it's catchy, and you'll be lost in the sauce pretty easily. So, yeah.
Yeah, y'all definitely some throwback feel of of the music that y'all put out, and bringing it into today's music scene. And I like it. I like how artists, because it is challenging for independent artists for trying to come up with something and makes it
Yeah.
stand out from everybody else, especially if you are in the Nashville area.
Oh
Now
my lord,
people
yeah.
like it, yeah, especially Nashville. They call it Music City, but with
Yeah,
music more like country. But I like to
exactly.
think that Nashville is a very passionate musical city. Like
You
people
can say that
listen to
again. Yeah,
music, so they take pride of the music that's out there, and the independent artists getting themselves heard. Yeah, definitely
exactly.
have make a name for yourself in the scene, doing shows with numerous acts. So
Yeah.
you mentioned y'all are working on some new music.
Yeah.
So as far as that, um, what direction are y'all going with this new music that y'all been working on? What can people expect from Scarlet Magnum for new music in 2024 and so forth?
Yeah, we've been road testing, if you want to call it that. We've been testing a lot of these new songs live, um, and the reaction has been overwhelmingly positive. And oh my God, I'm just so buzzed about this, man. It's just definitely the direction we're going is a bit of a more catchy, more aggressive, more refined sort of sound. As for me personally, I've tried to explore new territory lyrically. I've been getting it really into um, like sort of whimsical, the elegant, whimsical nature of like people like Alex Turner, and sort of the childish wordplay of like someone like Jack White, and even listening to a little bit of hip hop in there. I'm trying to I'm losing my train of thought here. Basically trying to, meld a whole bunch of different styles and, you know, stir the pot around, and it's gonna sound it's gonna sound good. I'm just I don't know, I lost my train of thought there, but yeah, all you need to know is that it sounds good. Come to the shows because that's the highest likelihood that you're gonna hear this new music before it's like officially out in the wild.
So speaking of shows,
Yeah.
it's a nice segue. I see that y'all have a show coming up, I believe February the 17th.
Yeah.
So talk about this show and when and where can people check out Scarlet Magnum?
Yeah, we actually have a few shows coming up in early 2024, and then we're gonna take a little break to focus on recording. After that, do all of the necessary stuff to put out a little something. I can't disclose much beyond that, but with the shows, we got one coming up in 2 days at Betty's Bar and Grill in Nashville. It's a 21 plus show with our best buds in Outpost, who are going to be also on the bill, and Phantom and Violent Void are going to be on there. There's the February 17th show that you previously mentioned, and we also got another show coming up at the East Room on February 24th, with our buddies in Sleeper Signal, our longtime bros in Sleeper Signal. And yeah, those guys are absolutely phenomenal. Great people, great musicians, really, really tight. And also, my friend the Ghost is going to be on that bill as well. And then you only get this chance once every 4 years. We're doing a leap year show at Dark Matter on the 29th, and with Outpost and our good friends at in a Belmont University based band called Stitches, and they're really good as well. Yeah, so we've got we got quite the loaded set of shows, I must say.
Yeah, loaded shows indeed. So they got these shows lined up before they take a hiatus and start working more on this new music. You might hear that new music before it gets released to the public per se.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, so if you're in the Nashville area, surrounding areas, in the coming month or so, in late January as well, go check out Scarlet Magnum. Get the mood,
Thank
in your
you.
January right. Let some Scarlet Magnum. Get yourself in
Exactly.
the
Start the new year strong. And
yeah.
one thing that I've been constantly telling myself that coming up this February 9th is going to be the 60th anniversary of the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And I'm thinking if the Beatles can have their moment to shine 60 years ago this year, and I'm sure Scarlet Magnum can do the very same thing because I really do believe that we have really something special to offer the Nashville um, rock community because I don't know, it's just a gut instinct, and I don't know, I'm just really happy with what we got. And yeah, oh my God, I keep losing my train of thought, and this is currently on
This is
camera. Wow, this is so embarrassing.
you are a very passionate man, man. I admire that, and you definitely feel excited of what's to come with Scarlet
Yeah,
Magnum, and with the shows that's coming up, and the music that's coming after. So yeah,
amen.
I didn't even know 60 years ago this to the closing in on the 60th anniversary of the Beatles and Ed Sullivan. Of course, Ed
Yeah.
Sullivan, iconic host, and of course the Beatles, very iconic band. And just man, hot throbs,
Oh
ladies
yeah.
screaming their names and
Yeah. To think that
you,
just criminal activity actually slowed down when the broadcast was on. And that's sort of the that actually is a good segue into another tangent that I've been constantly thinking about because it seems like in the rock world you have like two different sort of audiences. You have audiences for bands like 68 and Dead Poet Society and Royal Blood and Bring Me the Horizon and some of the harder edge stuff like that. And then you have the other side of the island, which is bands like Arctic Monkeys and Greta Van Fleet and the 1975. I think Youngblood could easily be placed in that category too of more commercially acceptable artists. And there seems to be sort of this rift between those two audiences. And I feel that what our aim is to merge those two audiences together. I mean, like, I don't see any reason why they should be apart. I mean, at the end of the day, if you really boil it down, rock and roll is just pop. That's really what it if you really boil it down to its roots. It's catchy music with just a different instrumentation, some different things in the song structures, but basically all the music is just one and the same, and just genre is just it's just a veil. It's just a vehicle for further division, man.
it feels like that meme with the arm wrestling, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, And look, I listen. I have grown to the point that I've listened to a variety of music. It's just a matter of how I'm feeling at the time. I might listen to rock
Yeah,
one day. I'll listen to hip hop the next day. I might listen to pop. I might listen to country, or Americana, bluegrass, folk. It's just whatever feels. Music is music at the end of the day.
exactly.
Sure, we are in streaming times. Music has evolved in that realm per se. But artists still gotta put these music out, still gotta put in the work in the studio, and provide the music for the masses. Um,
Exactly.
so it's mute, that's music for everybody.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Exactly the point. And I was gonna get onto something. I lost my train of thought again. Wow. This is it's like the third time this is happening. I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's what I wanted to say. I think that's another great thing that artists my age, I'm 21 right now, artists our age are kind of exploring. They're starting to realize that genre is, like I said, just a vehicle for dividing which camp you sort of belong to, for lack of a better description. And artists our age and emerging artists are blending aspects of all these different genres that wouldn't necessarily be put together. um like, for example, we have this song that we've been road testing a lot, called Beyond Repair. And it's one of my favorites to play live. And it has this bouncy sort of rock and roll feel. The second verse takes a bit more of a hip hoppy turn. There's just a tornado of riffs, and it gets kind of bluesy at some bits. And it's yeah, you really have to experience this live in order to really feel the true, I don't know, rush of excitement, I guess. Really, we're a live band, and you should definitely see us in our natural habitat, you know. It's just always a good time whenever we're on stage.
well said, man. I'm joining Azi, representing Scarlet Magnum. Check them out on social media at Scarlet Magnum on Instagram and on Facebook. Check out their 2021 music available on all streaming platforms. They do have new music on the way. By the way, the EP is called Ghost Stories and Supernatural Occurrences. You still can vibe to it while you wait on their new music. They got some shows
Exactly.
coming up in late January and most of February. So they're gonna get these shows in, and then they'll be going back to the studio to record some new music. It was great to have this conversation with you
Thank you so
this
much, Kenny.
evening,
Yeah,
and I've enjoyed it. I'm definitely looking forward to the new music
thank you.
that y'all have in store. And thank you, man, for your time, and thank you for being the most styling guest that I've ever seen in 2024 thus far. You
My
set the
pleasure.
bar. You set the bar high with your style presence this
Thank you,
evening.
man. I mean,
So
As Joe Bonamassa, one of my favorite guitarists, once so wisely put it, there's two letters that separate famous from infamous, and we'll see which category I land in at the end of this. One of my favorites.
well,
Anyway, thank you so much, Kenny, for doing what you do. You know, Independent podcasters and content creators such as yourself really need, you know, a much louder megaphone nowadays in today's world, and by God, you're doing a damn good job at it.
I appreciate that, man. Continued success with the band and new
Thank you.
music on the horizon. I'll definitely will be playing y'all new music once it is released.
Oh
And
yeah.
you have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend coming up.
You too.
All right,
All
man.
right. Peace
All
and
right.
love. Rocket Venom
Good love.
forever.
Yes, sir.